So hello everyone, welcome to the Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne. We're live from the Full Speed Event Studios, and today I am solo. No Emma with us today, I'm afraid. Emma just being a little careful, just suffering from long COVID and a little bit down under the weather. So being careful because she's got a big event on Sunday, going to be hosting the Sunday Race Club. We aren't live with the WOW DCG, the women's only Wednesday on the Donny Chaingang. And of course, we're looking forward to seeing just what happens tonight. Now, last night on the Open Donny Chaingang, Russ, our yellow beacon, pulled the pin halfway through a 25k out of a 52k route and caused absolute carnage out on the course. But people got together, worked in groups, came into the end. Everybody loved it. Everybody thought it was incredibly hard. It was very tough. It's the Donny Chaingang. It ain't easy, and it's not going to be tonight. Now, tonight, we've got quite a short route, 38k. Now, that just means that we've taken all that goodness that is DCG and squished it down into our WOW DCG routes to give us a real fast one. And throughout the season, the difficulty will build, the type of course will build. We've got some real nasty routes planned for the end. Don't blame me. Blame Emma, because she is in charge of all of the planning. Now, don't forget, we are only here because we want to look after our riders, and one of the ways we do that is supporting the guys on the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club. And just up on the side there, you can see 1080, the purveyors of all things Oakley. Some amazing shirts, t-shirts, as well as Oakley shades or glasses. Get in touch with Ian there. Don't forget, of course, Continental, Velaskin, Halo, Nonnas, OC, all supporting the guys on the Chain Gang, everybody in the DCG gang, including yours truly. Although, as you can see, mine's well and truly used. It's proper water bottle. I get some serious stick, both in the studio and out on the roads as well. Try and make everything we multi-purpose, and that way you cut down on the amount of plastics we run through in the course of the season. Now, we are sponsored, of course, by Grit. I've got to say a massive thank you to Neil, who was on the Chain Gang last night for our Red Beacon, and of course to Caroline, the CEO. They're supporting and are giving away to members of the DCG gang. So how does it work? Well, you just donate in. If you donate for a month or to the end of the season, effectively you just helping us keep the show on the road, all the streaming, the hosting, all of the software, the tech that we use specifically for the Donny Chain Gang. We don't use any of it into funding in the rest of the broadcasting and the coverage that we do. It is specifically for the stuff that it covers cost just about of the specific Donny Chaingang stuff that we do in the WOW DCG stuff. So please, guys, if you can, donate. If you can't, don't worry. We are going to be here, and there'll always be the option for a free ride to jump in on the Open and on the WOW DCG. The Open, of course, having that registration process, just because it's so much more carnage on there, and we do get the occasional misbehaving person. However, on the WOW DCG, that is not the case. But if we were to, then we would be calling on the services of our yellow beacon. Because our yellow beacon is there to keep all of our riders in check. Make sure they know exactly what's set out in front of them, and they can keep that pace. Now, Sammy Stewart from Cams Basso is our yellow beacon tonight. Just waiting for Sammy to jump in and join on to the ride. Sammy, no stranger to this, and in fact was one of our first guest yellow beacons. Now, the yellow beacon role was normally held by Emma, but Emma not riding at the moment, and that means that we've got the chance to bring in some amazing riders. We've had Sammy Stewart, Becky Story, Millie Skinner, Alison Kinlock. We've had a whole host of people covering those duties out. Got to say a massive thank you to them. Don't forget, of course, that all of this is only possible because these guys volunteer and look after our riders. So, Sammy on yellow beacon duties. If riders fall behind, then the person in charge of sweeping duties is the one and only Joe Munden. I've had the pleasure of watching Joe go out and ride. And what better way to be a red beacon than to celebrate in a national champs jersey, complete over there, far side, with a bottle of champs. Now, I think, if I am correct, that this is probably at Hadley in a national champs season, but I'm not going to guarantee that because certainly I think that was a Hadley day out, but I'm not going to put money on that because we've been in a lot of dry and dusty fields over the year. Joe, of course, great on the road bike, riding for the Cryogen team, and Joe lined up down on the start line at the moment and all ready to go to sweep all of our riders round. What are our riders going to face? Well, this is where we are heading. We're going out from Paris, from the Pens, onto the Le Tousse Express. Basically, the standard circuit the opposite way around. This adds a little bit more spice to the circuit. So the warm-up is done by going up and around the Arc de Triomphe, then back down again. We go through the lap banner, and then we have 5 laps, 6.6k, and we move on to there. So it is absolutely key. We're just going to have a little bit of a check to see where all of our riders are. So I think almost everybody on board. So our riders are lined up and ready. Let's see if they're going to be able to get themselves in and riding. The riders due to go away, and I think at the moment Alison Kinloch could well be stepping in to just keep everybody held together. Let's see if that's the case. So just waiting for the riders to go in. Let's see if they are up and running. So let's see how they do. Just waiting for the riders to get ready to set off on to a course. We're on 1 minute 57. Now, this circuit, basically, you've got the panhandle and you've got the actual shovel on the bottom there. So we are just going to let you guys on here. So I know Alison's got the commentary on, which is always a good start when it comes to the rides. We are just going to have to do a little bit of tech searching to make sure everybody gets on. So let's take a check out of our riders down on that grid with a 1:25 to go. So our riders into that final countdown. Let's jump in to the rider with them. They're going to be heading out. We are going to jump in with the back of the group now. Our yellow beacon just having tech issues getting in to the event. So just at the moment, it's going to be Alison Kinloch who's going to be taking the helm and taking us out from the start. So quick reminder, guys, please try and make sure you stay around Alison to start off with. We are just watching them, and in fact, here she comes. We are going to see these riders heading out, and a little bit of a late start, I think, for Sammy, but she's going to be there on the line. So our yellow beacon is going to make her way in, and if I know Sammy, she'll just come charging up to the front at about 100 miles an hour. So our riders away from those pens, and the yellow beacon is with us in the shape of Sammy. Welcome, Sammy. Good to have Sammy Stewart on board, and just made it all blob up around a yellow. So here we go. So thank you very much, Alison. I saw the instructions there. As soon as Sammy's up and running, I'm sure you'll do a super smooth handover on the way through. So fantastic stuff. Now, just quick reminder whilst these riders get themselves together. The course that we're heading out on, we go up to the turnaround, the Arc de Triomphe, and then head back down at the top of the Champs-Elysees, right the way down. Then we go around the Tuileries Gardens, then back out once again. The profile of the course, well, you can see that climb rising up, courtesy of our Velo Viewer graphic, and a massive thank you to Ben and all the gang. Looks like we have our yellow beacon back on board. Sammy's back in town, which means that we're going to drop a ride on down on Sammy. So Sammy in and on board the gang, and just going to check our riders are up and away. So the riders heading out and off on to the course, looking good at the moment. And just on that climb up to the top of the hill. So looking good at the moment. Let's take a little bit of a check down in here. We're going to get our drone camera in and rolling, just able to see them coming in and through at the moment. Looking good as they make their way up this slope. So certainly looking like they've got this pretty much dialed. So it looks like the riders out on course, so our audio just kicking in. So here we go on this climb. The group all together. Let's get that helicopter up into the air. Let's give it a good little look as we come up to the top of the climb here today. So just diving up above the riders here. You can see that group are basically all together. Good to see we've got some of our regulars on here. Joanne Lee, always a very quick rider. Good to see Joe riding nice and strongly all week long. We've got Lisa Jane Late. Lisa, of course, one of our beacons. And a cracking job done by Lisa, also taking the prize for having the best matching avatar to their actual person in real life. Looks like we've got Tracy Seeley here, which is Tracy from the in real life meetups as well. Terminator 2.0 in here, just in front of Joe Munden. Joe ready to sweep along at the back. Sarah Jane Hawkins, another rider, improving week on week every time she's in here as well. Good to see we've got Alison Kinlock. Alison, of course, one of our regular riders and a rider who knows exactly how to be the beacon. Alison doing a great job. And then, of course, a podium rider already this season in the cross season. Pip Morn in with us. Julie Bratton, Daisy Freer in here. Daisy's been running incredibly strongly on the open Chaingang. I think it's going to be Emma Gilbert tucked in on the side here. And again, Emma, another of our really quick riders. As the riders now go into the descent. Don't forget, of course, we're going to have 6 laps. When the riders hit that banner at the base of the descent. So these riders are making their way down. Looking good at the moment. Just keeping an eye on those heart rates. So the riders going in and through. And don't forget, of course, all of this currently under control, nothing going anywhere until the yellow beacon says time to lift that pace. Once it picks up, then, of course, here on the WOW DCG, just like on the DCG, that's under the control of our yellow beacon. And a massive thank you to Sammy Stewart, who arrives, of course, here today, a rider from the Basso Council, but riding here in the local Wahoo Canyon colours here, and you can just see those very nice Canyon colours up on the Canyon team bike. Very, very distinctive indeed. And at the moment, this is a rather rapid gang, it has to be said, moving along pretty quick. Pip just sitting on the back of this group. Remember, if you're a strong rider, do the work. If you're a rider who's maybe thinking about just saving those legs, then make sure you keep them towards the back of the group. We've got a real mix of riders here today as well. So Emily Lockwood from Setonia here as well. We've got Impella riders in. I think that is going to be just going to keep a quick check through. It's Laura Powell from the Team Impella squad. So good to have the team from Derby, of course, responsible for looking after round number 1 of the National Trophy Cyclocross Series, and just been sorting out. It's actually going to be one of Powell's ex-teammates. Going to be our next guest on the Crosscast, and I'm looking forward to bringing that out. Going to be recording that next week as part of what is going to be a really busy week. So whilst we've got a little bit of peace and quiet on the run down and into towards the lap gantry, just going to through that gantry and into the turn. Just a couple of quick heads up. So tonight is the last broadcast this week. So this week we are on our last broadcast. That is going to be finished show at the end of the WOW DCG this time around. When we finish that, then we are going to be going in. Now, what was the percentage needed for the anvil? I think it's 3% for the anvil, Emma. The broadcast will finish at the end of the WOW DCG, and then we are not there on the run through tomorrow's DCG, the Donny Chaingang. And then all of next week, there will be no broadcast. Now, we're having to have a lack of broadcast, quite simply because we're just starting off on a new project for Full Speed Events, and it does mean that Emma and I will not be around to run the broadcast. We will be running the Rise. However, the WOW DCG and the DCG will be in action as normal, but no broadcast next week at all, and no broadcast on Thursday's ride. We'll be back as normal. The aim is to broadcast basically into this weekend, and then there'll be no more broadcasts from there on. In Emma on the Sunday Race Club, I am going to be in. Let's have a look. No idea what the Ghost does. Well, it's really easy. The Ghost is real simple. Ghost is get you out and underneath without anybody spotting you. You get to hide. You can put an attacking, go off the front. Very useful when the trigger point is given, when that GGG has gone. Yeah. Best thing with the anvil is to throw it in just before any of the downhills. It automatically switches off on the uphills, so it is quite handy. So a few new riders in with us. Just jumping in with Beth Pascal at the moment. So Beth, a regular distance runner, like an auto runner to be honest, with the kit, or a mountain runner. So one of our adventure sport runners, so on the bike. So currently with the equivalent of 12 days on the clock and 10,000 Ks underneath Beth's wheels, adding to them. So Beth in here and riding nice and strongly already. Plenty of time on the bike. Looks like Powell just rolling on to the front. These riders just taking it in turns. Charland coming through next. So our next rider is going to be Michelle Charland. Sandra McKay right up at the front there. Looks like Harriet Robb back once again. Good to have Harriet back in the gang. And as Sammy's just indicating time to ramp this up. So Harriet Robb tucked in here. Harriet wearing her traditional blue, grey and white camo kit here. So just off to the left here as we see these riders roll around. So looks like the gang all too eager to lift the pace up here as they make their way around the side of the Tuileries Gardens along the river bank at the side of the Seine. They're going to take the right turn now, which comes in at the side of the bridge. Going to go over just across from the bankside into towards the main Champs-Élysées and up on to the climb towards the Arc de Triomphe and the Arc de Triomphe, of course, in the big, we'll use a UK term, roundabout at the top of the climb. So remember, we are on lap 1 of today's laps at the moment. Just seeing Daisy Frid just disappearing out the back of the group, not like Daisy. Come on, Daisy. You've ridden enough Donny Chaingang. You've probably been on more Donny Chaingangs than that over the last I don't know how long. Daisy giving it some beans. Daisy will be fine. Daisy's one of our youngsters on the ride. And looking like Daisy's got this absolutely dialed at the moment. No problems at all. Yeah, fly by Daisy. Just came through absolutely rocketing into the back of the gang. Just maybe a little bit of an issue. It's very easy to drop a water bottle, a phone or something similar on the way through as we come in past those pens. And as you can see, riding in with our riders. Good to see we've got John Lee back in with another of our regular riders on the Chaingang. Super quick rider. And gotta say, this gang is working well, but the drag is about to start kicking. And one of the main things about the course being this way round is we have a downhill finish with the majority of it being a downhill with a little kicker in before the line. Our riders will get plenty of chance to make sure they've got that absolutely spot on as they make their way up the cobbles here in France. So looks like nobody struggling with the pace at the moment. This pack steadily winding its way up at the moment. Joe just tucked on the back here for the Cryogen squad. So Joe Munden, a regular rider of many things, not just the bike, but also horses. Amazing what you can find out when you do a bit of internet research. When you're going to be commentating on people and knowing what they get up to, but had the pleasure of knowing Joe for a lot of years now and seeing her at races. Somebody who we know is going to be quick in sprints, going to be quick on the ride, riding well on the DCG and the WOW DCG, and really did seem a natural to bring in as a beacon. Don't forget, if you want to help out, the easiest way to do so is jump on and be a beacon. You don't need to have any special skills, although the ability to type instructions or cut and paste instructions whilst riding is handy. If you think you can ramp the pace up and mix it up with the guys at the front, why not try being yellow? If you're even stronger, though, it's actually harder being red. Just great to get the message from Neil. Neil was keeping the chest, and you would know that Neil from Gritty, from the Crosscast, would be absolutely all over the numbers. But Neil's TSS score was as high at the back of the group working for the Red Beacon last night as it is on the front of the group working to stay in once that trigger, the 3 Gs and 3 Os are given. Now, Sammy, this lot is going well. Sammy Stewart holding them all together. But I tell you something, they're always really well behaved at the moment, and nobody seems to be struggling with the pace. We're just going to take a look. Nobody's yo-yoing off the back regularly, which is always usually a surefire sign. Just taking a look at heart race, etc. Sean just dropping across to the back here, and needs to squeeze on this climb. Don't lose the wheels, remember. Absolutely key is to be able to stay in that slipstream. 6 meters, the critical number. Charlotte squeezing it up over the top, but making sure she doesn't lose contact. And this is actually the critical point here. So as we come in over the top, Emma will tell you exactly how tough this is. It's one of those points where generally you tend to find it's going in. I'm loving the fact that Charlotte's trying to manage the kids cooking dinner while she rides. I tell you something, that is some skill. super smooth over the top. Nobody fighting for position to stay on the back of the gang. And it's when you go over the top of the climb onto the flatter section that it really does count. But some real skills being dialed in by our riders here today. So Laura Cheeseman tucked in at the middle of the group at the moment. You just see in that salmon jersey there, just nicely rolling in through towards the green sprint line here. The riders coming down to complete lap number 2. Remember, it's 6 laps with 16.5 minutes in. I think Sammy must be thinking she's got one of the best groups ever here. They are not only sticking together, but they're rolling along at a real pace here. So a quick heads up, but don't forget to join the DCG on a Tuesday, Thursday. You need to make sure you register in advance. The window open 25 hours to 1 hour before. And that is quite simply so we can go through takeouts, bandbots, etc. Not had the need to do that on the WoW DCG. We will leave it as an open event on Zwift as long as we can. The more people we can get jumping on and riding, experiencing the Donny Chaingang, the better. And so many people basically extending their riding across from the WoW DCG into the DCG as well. Everyone welcome, since you know how to play the game. Stay around yellow and away you go. Sammy is enjoying her pack on the way through, and looks good at the moment. So just a little correction. It is 5 laps, not 6. My counting skills are utterly rubbish. Fortunately, Emma, although she's not on the broadcast because not feeling too good at the moment and just having to do a little bit of rest and recovery prior to weekend duties, is in here. Interesting to see that these lap times are building. And Emma keeping a check on all of the stats on the way through. So on lap 2, 2 laps complete of R5. How long will it be before it gets wound up even more? We're at 10.3k at the moment for Foxy. Just going to keep a check on these numbers as these riders go in and through. So that's got to be lap 1 complete of 5. It's got to be warm up plus 1 lap because there's 6.6k per lap, and that would therefore be 12. In fact, 13.2. My maths is rubbish. Tell you what. Let's have a double check. There you go. There's the maths for you on the screen. If in doubt, put it up on the screen, mate, and you can remember it. It's 3.5k leading. 5 laps of 6.6, which means you finish at 36.5k. Which means, without a doubt, these riders are going into lap number 2, not completing lap number 2. There we go. Don't forget, of course, the profile. We're about to head down in towards that dip as these riders go in and through. And at the moment, it's looking good. We're just in with the amazingly multitasking Michelle Charlotte here, who is cooking dinner. Well, she's not actually. She's supervising dinner for the kids while simultaneously riding the Donny Chaingang. Very impressive skills. Do let us know if you can flip pancakes whilst knitting or whilst riding on the Donny Chaingang, because do you know what? Ruby Isaacs can, and Ruby's a regular on the Chaingang. Great to see. And of course, lots of our riders having to stay absolutely focused on turning the pedals around. If I was on the Chaingang right now, I think I'd be just trying to breathe deep and stay with the game, because it's absolutely motoring tonight. I don't think there'll be any supervising anybody on the way through. So Sammy asking, is everybody okay? I think they are. Everybody not lost anyone yet. Let's see how they go. And it looks like we've got 11.5k under the wheels, just riding in with Foxy at the moment. That's Lisa Jane from the Rave squad. At the moment, Loving it. Awesome. Now, great to see that we have another of our returning riders here. This is Angela Webster. Angela in here in the all black. I'm loving the fact that people have still got the strength, the energy left to go, I'm all good, Sammy. How are you doing? We're going to have a conversation on the way around. Oh, it's, let's see how long that lasts today. The riders over the top of the group. They are looking good. They certainly are. Just riding in with Sandra McKay. Just seeing it string a little bit as it came over that rise, but very quickly back together again. Crunching back in. The time's a couple of seconds quicker this time round through the reverse sprint on the way round. And those lap times, or most people setting a new fastest lap last time around. Basically everybody doing 11:44. 11 minute 44 for the lap. Let's take a quick check on the group. Looks like everybody here once again. Just riding in with Foxy, who's nicely tucked it in at the back here. Joe Munden still keeping a check on the back of this group. And our beacons super attentive today, which is great to see. Not that they seem to need to be, because everybody's on there. And a massive thank you, of course, to Alison for keeping that yellow hot seat warm for Sammy whilst Sammy joined the ride. It's always very handy when you know you've got a really safe pair of hands like Alison in there when there are slight technical issues on the way through. So, Joe holding the foot at the back. Sammy controlling the group in the middle of that pack at the moment. Nobody being distanced yet. I'm going to say yet. Might have a little check out some of the bike kit. I'm always up for a bit of bike geekism. So, first of all, the bike as ridden by Joe Munden. Joe's gone deep rims, aero frame, but not super deep, so that'll be of an advantage on the climb. If we take a look across now, Lisa Jane Lake, Lisa's gone for a full-on aero frame there, but has got the lightest set of discs on the market. That is getting thumbs up in the background. Emma's not allowed to speak, but she's getting thumbs up as being the best combination bike for this course. Aero bike, disc rear, aero front wheel. Interesting because, of course, there are a number of riders choosing to ride on slightly different bikes on the way through, and quite a few riding in on a Zwift Concept 1, aka the Tron bike. Just going to take a little bit of a check what else people are on. Alison Kinlock, just going to try and zoom my way around. Deep rim, relatively light frame there, so a nice all-round mix. Julie Bretter, what's Julie riding tonight? Going to try and dive in. Julie on a Tron bike. So probably my second favourite bike for this course. But that's only because some days you want to just have that option of just pick a bike. Well, you know it's a safe bet on almost every course. So it looks like the microclimate around Foxy is getting a little bit hot at the moment. Time to turn those fans up. The pace holding on here. One day you'll get enough drops to upgrade. Alison, you will. I promise it'll happen. More you pedal, more you ride on the Chaingang, more drops you get. It is that simple. Ride with a pace partner for your warm-up. And the longer you stay with the pace partner, so if you're going to do a warm-up for a ride on Zwift, one of the key things that I do for my warm-up and warm-down, join a pace partner at the various levels, pick the level that's going to do the watts per kilo that you're wanting out of the warm-up or the that session, just to get your legs turning. Every time you go past a set section, it becomes a multiplier. So initially you just get the points, then it goes to 1.2, 1.4, 1.6, 1.8, then double points, and then it goes back to 0 again. So it's perfect for jumping in and riding and gaining some extra drops points. It's a very fast way to accelerate your way through those drops points. Also, pick routes that have lots and lots of banners on them. So If you pick a route that goes through one archway on your route, you have the possibility of getting one power-up on the way through. That power-up has the possibility of having extra points on your power-ups, a plus symbol. That gets you extra points. If you ride a route that has 15 power-ups, the odds are that you're going to get at least one power-up in that ride of 15 circuits that are out there. It takes a bit of thinking about, and to be honest, I've never been bothered enough to do it. Far too lazy to do that, but there are people out there that have, so it'd be remiss of me not to tell you about them. And no, they are not Neil and they are not Emma, the pair of professors, both Professor Mansfield and Professor Martin, neither of them being quite geeky enough to do that and go through that. They've got better things to spend their time researching, I'm sure. In Emma's case, which routes are going to get wound up and take people's legs apart one way or another. In Neil's case, looking at the stats, trying to check out who's doing what, where and when for the next recording of the Crosscast. And our next Crosscast recording is due next week. Don't forget you can get hold of the current episode that is out. That was a great episode with Ed Beechan and Collins. It has some real detail in there as well. There's so much to Zwift you don't know. There is so much to Zwift that even Zwift don't know. It's quite scary, and there are people whose lives revolve around it. Not that we can say anything here at Full Speed Events with 3 evenings a week, plus all the riding that we do with DSing and riding and racing and broadcasting and organising. It's an art form. I got a U in art. Well, actually, I didn't. I got a G in art. I only didn't get a U in art because they weren't giving out U's this time round. Emma just joking in the background of the studio here. Just copying it. It would have been a U if they were allowed to give U's, but it's the very first year of GCSEs, which dates my age. And they weren't giving anybody a U, even when you basically turned up at art class, sat there, did nothing all the time, and only submitted one piece of art for the entire coursework. If I compare that to the amount of work being done by my daughter, it's rather different these days. You don't get away with that. You'll be able to buy her artwork in a bit. It'll be signed for airpaying. It'll be worth a fortune. You heard it here first. How can you get an X in biology? I didn't know you could get X's. Is that like I just didn't bother turning up? It's like, no, that's a grade that I didn't even know existed. There you go. And they're on numbers now. They ran out of letters, so they're going on numbers. So another personal best time through that sprint as the pace winds up. Oh, I was waiting for that. Joe Munden went there with the full XY surely. Nicely. There we go. So he was waiting for that as well. Let's not start down that little rabbit warren, shall we? So the riders on the way down here on the Donny Chaingang DCG 9. This lot are looking very comfy. Very, very Gruppo Compacto at the moment. The bunch spread out. Now, the question is going to be, how long are they going to wait for the trigger? Bearing in mind that we've had some very, very random trigger points going from Russ on the Donny Chaingang. I think he harnessed his inner wolf last night. In fact, I might have said that on the commentary a number of times. On the way through. Don't forget, of course, if you want to catch up with what's happened, make sure you can jump on. Sorry, don't take my word for it. Matt said it was very comfy. Let's go to 3. Never listen to me about anything. It's very dangerous. You listen to me as like background music, but you know, the detailed bit of how fast to ride, definitely not. It's the reason I'm not a ride leader out here. Looks are deceiving. I know, everybody's just making it look good at the minute. So at the moment, half an hour done, 17k just about to hit the clocks. Another personal best for everybody to go through that lap, so that lap quicker. Once again, 6 seconds quicker this time round. So that's a nicely ramped run up. Sorry. I'm going to say sorry a lot tonight, aren't I, for saying is it going to go any quicker? Is everybody looking comfy? I don't know. I'm very good at apologising. I've learned how to do it. You don't go on the mic in public without learning how to say sorry for upsetting people. It is a very, very dangerous thing. You're bound to say something that somebody doesn't like at some point. When you say as many words as I do. Now, somebody who can talk even more than me. Just got Tracy Seeley in here. Tracy from the DCG. Had a great ride actually with Tracy and Finn out on the course. And in fact, I didn't get a word in edgeways, it has to be said. Or maybe I just didn't think I did. Oh, sorry, Tracy. Yeah, I told you I was good at saying that, sorry. So, after having the upset Tracy says she talks a lot. She does talk. You do talk a lot. She's going to get a chance to exercise her vocal skills. Particularly, she's got a talk to type because Tracy's actually going to be one of our yellow beacons later on this month. I had the pleasure of putting all those routes in. And clearly, you see, I said everybody was comfy, or almost everybody was comfy, because there's lots of chatting going on. Now, it might not need vocal skills to keep on going, but you know what? You still got to have the strength to be able to type and move. So we'll see what Tracy's leadership skills are like. I'm sure they're absolutely superb, to be honest. Tracy Seeley's an absolute addict. I mean, we've talked about people like Tiff being a DCG addict before now. That's going to be Tiff Fletcher from Derby, who's BC coach, and Donny Chaingang addict. Well, Tracy's probably qualifies full-on Zwift addict, regularly riding every single day, generally in the morning for God knows how far. Then added into that, the Chaingangs on an evening, regularly doing 3 in a week. So when she's Yellow Beacon, she's probably got all the tricks of the trade and learnt them all by watching everybody else. So we'll see how she gets on with that. Good to see everybody at the moment, still sitting in here. Not too much work for Joe Munden to do at the moment. I have to say, Joe, you're getting a pretty easy ride here today, apart from the riding bit. Doing a great job holding on the back of the group. And in fact, I don't think I've seen a red beacon just sit as comfortably at the back of the group. And really interesting that she's just holding position. That shows a very experienced rider, not just on Zwift, but generally to have the power modulation to go in and out. Absolutely stunning stuff. So remember, of course, the pace control by our yellow beacon. It's Sammy Stewart doing the business once again here. And thank you very much to Sammy for jumping in as our yellow beacon. Just in with Angela Webster at the moment, just as we come alongside the bridge, head away from that riverside, going to take that left-hand turn. Now, one rider who I'm going to be really interested to see how they do here today is going to be Daisy Freer. Daisy is one of those riders who has improved and improved and improved and improved. Here we go. You would find Daisy if we tried hard enough. So Daisy has got quicker and quicker and quicker on the Chaingang. Got faster, 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 faster and faster. So Freer getting quicker, getting faster every single ride and improving all the time. Regular on the Donny Chaingang on a Tuesday and a Thursday, and regularly our fastest finisher. Not always, because there's some seriously big hits come out to play and they have a habit of rotating that round amongst themselves depending on who the course suits. But Daisy, particularly when it goes uphill on a rolling tough course, comes to the fore, and I think it'll depend on where the trigger is pulled by our yellow beacon. But definitely a rider to watch out for. Not just, of course, on Swifter. I think probably somebody whose name we're going to see potentially in lights in a few years' time as well on the national scene. Great to see a rider who we've just who I've had the pleasure actually of riding on a training camp with a long time ago. Lizzie Holden being signed up was on the RST training camp a long time ago, must be about 10 years ago, on that RST training camp, and Lizzie Holden was on there with Rob. Lizzie now signing for the UAE ADQ team. Whilst that's a lot of letters, it is the United Arab Emirates, the Emirati team of the ADQ, and the taking that step into that team. You may well know it from some of the riders who've been on there. They've been right in the forefront. Really strong team, really good team, and great to see how they're going. I'm loving the fact everyone's going, oh, it's just liking this pace here. Everyone's hanging in, keeping it all together, nobody going anywhere. To give you an indication, just getting a little update from Emma on the stats. She can't keep away from the stats. Daisy Freer, if we said she was good, this is how good she is. National Mountain Bike Championships at Carrottree this year, top 10 rider. 8th place. Absolutely stunning performance by Daisy, and that shows you just how classy a rider she is, and expect to see more in the future. But a real rider with what we love about the Chaingang. There are so many riders, so many different backgrounds. We've got youngsters on, we've got older riders on, we've got people coming back from injury, we've got stars of the sport in here as well. We've got people doing the hardest job in the world, that's being a parent, I should know, and simultaneously whilst riding, which I think is a very impressive skill. So, over the top, and looks to me like everybody's still together. The ramp is ramping, and nobody is being distanced at the moment. We're now at 38, nearly 40-minute marker here. We've got 21, nearly 22k on the clock, and this is when people will start, no doubt, getting nervous. We are nearly hitting the 40-minute marker. That always puts the chills into people on the Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's also a point at which people regularly get a little scared on the WOW DCG, oddly enough. Oh, look at this. 3.5 watts per kilo. And I think we know that Sammy can hold that kind of power. The question is, can the rider stay with her when she does? Well, you can just see our yellow beacon has started to wind this up. And this on a downhill, an increase on the downhill is now going to test the lighter riders in the squad. But they have the advantage of the gravity-assisted descent, plus the draft should see the lighter riders stay in at this stage. But it's not going to take much to snap the elastic. The bonds that form the WOW DCG could be shattered and broken. Will we see single riders coming off, or will we see it come apart faster than the nuclear explosion? Because at the moment, those riders are looking very, very good together. The pace has definitely gone up. You can see the speed at the moment, 52 kph. We should see another fastest time. There we go. Fastest time through the sprint coming down 20.44. And I expect to see a good few seconds off the time for the lap time as well. Remember, this ride ramping up nice and steadily. Great control here by Sammy. Stay on to your pop, definitely, and then don't worry, because we know that Joe Munden will be there to look after you when your legs do let go. But make sure you tell her if you manage to actually physically type at any point. I never can. At the moment, though, it is getting really wound up, and everybody's staying on board. We're on this descent. We're coming into that lap pattern. I think everyone's going to set a fastest time through the lap this time around. So in we come to that lap pattern. The fastest time currently in 11:37. What's that fastest time going to be? Let's see. It's snowing confetti. That's not just a little bit faster. That is now nearly 50 seconds faster on the way through. As they go through there, it's a 10:51 this time round. The pace is on. The heat is being turned up. Well, who can keep the pressure? The fantastic lap times. I tell you what, people are going to get PB after PB. Anyone who uploads their ride to Strava, they're just going to be going ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. Fantastic stuff. They're going to be getting more silverware in there than Rob Jebb's Three Peaks Trophy cabinet. Right, in his case it's gold actually technically, but it's silverware, it's trophies usually. Right. So Marvin tucked in nicely, Tracy in here, Joe Munden, Daisy Freer just holding the back of that group. Come on guys, stay in the back of the pack there. Hold on till you drop. Look at that, back in with that group. Great riding here today, and Joe patrolling the back of this. There's a new TV show coming out, which is Rogue SAS. I'll tell you something, Rogue SAS put in some serious patrols on the SAS, but I think this is an even better level of checking that the entire team is all right, being done by Joe and Sammy here. What a duo. And look at this, the group is absolutely hammering. Sammy Stewart used the word wow. Well, we thought it would be appropriate when we dreamt up Women Only Wednesday Donny Chaingang. Do you know what? It is. It's so appropriate. We've got to say, week in, week out, every single week, we're so impressed by the level of riding and the level of cooperation, keeping everybody together. It ramps, everybody gives it everything. And then, of course, at some point, our beacons decide that it is time to pull that pin and to see what everybody's got left at the end. So Sammy, our beacon in that Canyon kit at the moment, just sat in the middle of that group. Just going to take a little bit of a check up with our cable cam up over the top. This is just for Neil, who is a cable cam addict, if you want to know more. Don't forget, of course, to download the Crosscast. There isn't a Crosscast that goes by when we don't seem to mention it one way or another. At the moment, this group working well on the way through. Nobody being distanced as yet. Everyone holding. Come on. I think it's going to be Harriet Rogers dropping to the back of the group. Harriet, another of our riders fast becoming a regular. Keeping that pace and nice and high, staying in with that group. Currently third actually on that sprint time through there, but of course we do know that was done as part of the pack as these riders come through. So alongside the scene, 45 minutes on the clock. That pace is still being held high. The question is, how long can they maintain it? We are currently less than 8k to go to the finish now here today on the Donny Chaingang on the WOW DCG. And that group all back together once again. You see that slight little rise, 2% as you just kick off the plastic coming up on to the start of the Champs-Élysées. That little kicker, it rises towards the line, it drops off the other side. It does mean that our lap line is on a slight riser on the way through, and you can just see our yellow beacon is not letting these riders take any rest on the way through, just keeping that pace high at the moment. So Sammy Stewart, Alison Kinlock, Joanne Lee, Looks like Bratton in there as well. Webster in this lead group, all at the front here. Often the rider who's going to spring the surprises, the rider's sitting and just making sure that they get the timing right, saving their energy for the inevitable kick that is going to come. So 46 minutes on the clock, 26.5K. We've climbed 157 meters at the moment. That heart rate is rolling. Remember the lap line itself, because remember it's 6.6K. The lap line is the orange banner tonight. So the orange banner is key for our riders. Well, the clock ticks onwards. These riders still all staying in. Just not seeing anybody in trouble at the back of this group. No, normally when the pace starts to pick up and we've seen it steadily ramp, what we find is we get a long string of riders. But I think we might now see Harriet just starting to feel the pressure on this climb. Looks like Joe Munden already aware faster than we were here in the studio. And I think our bus is going to form, and it's going to be led, of course, by the one and only Joe Munden. Joe, let us know if you've got any of those champagne bottles. Because those champagne bottles on the bus, very appropriate. Never mind swigging them on the bike as you go. Most of the bus drivers always have some sort of drink lined up on the way through. So this climb starting, the first split occurring, and looks to me like we are going to be left with a real flying finish here today. We're riding in with Julie Bratton. Julie, one of our regular riders on Chaingang. Good to have you back, Julie. Julie on that concept bike on the stages kit in the blue and white there. Laura, she's just on to her heels at the moment. And don't forget, if you do get distance, there is always going to be riders with you here on the Donny Chaingang. The aim is to give us a rider behind, and that is key. So we're going to just dive down in with the rider once again. Here we go. We're in with our next riders just sitting on the back. Charlotte, Marvin, Foxy, all hovering around the back. I don't think any of them are likely to be in trouble at the moment. I think for me, this is going to all be about the moment that pin is pulled, because I think there are a lot of riders now on towards their limit here. So the gang coming around the Arc de Triomphe here. We're riding in with Foxy, Lisa Chain late. This group holding as they come around the top. Well, Sammy Stewart still holding that pace high at the moment. She's taking it up. The question is, will she ramp it again? Will she pull the pin? Will she be content to see if anybody else starts to suffer as they come down into this descent? Remember, the descent makes things very different indeed. One of the reasons, of course, that the WOW DCG is so important is because of the dynamics that Zwift play. If you are a very different shape rider, if you're a 6'2", 200 kilo sort of person, then you're going to find that your avatar rides very differently to somebody who is 5 foot and weighs 50 kilos. It's really straightforward. Having a group of similar sized people actually makes a big difference into how the ride rolls and who can stay in and who can't. Another fastest time, we've gone at sub 20 now, 19.66 the fastest time through there. That was just taken by Angela going through. Sammy, interestingly, taking a quick roll through that as well. We're on our way down towards the line. Remember, this view down here is going to be our run in to the finish when we come around. Next time around, we're going to hit this at just about 30k. And as we hit it, it will be one lap to go for the riders as they come through the arch. You can see it in front It's a -3%. This is the biggest downhill, the longest stretch, but you've got a little riser to go up and through that line. So the fastest sprint time of 19.66. We've got dipped under that 20-second marker. Our lap time last time, remember, it took a huge amount off, 50 seconds, we went to 10:51. The question will be, what will those two numbers be at the end? I think there'll be a lot of people who won't be able to see those numbers if they've got this timing right, because they're going to need to know that they can roll with the riders. So they've got to stay in with that bunch. We're about to hit the line. So one lap wonder, it's go, go, go as Gon Sammy's hit the button. It is go, go, go. Our riders are on the way here, and this is about the pressure going down. And look at this, we've got somebody trying to go for a fly. It's only Alison Kinlock who's gone down hard here as this group starts to power away. So the trigger is gone. One lap wonder, it's going to be. The pressure on, the gaps are opening up now as these riders come around. Joanne Lee takes to the front of this group. Stewart is still in there. Looks to me like Freya in here. Seeley in this group as well. Gilbert is in the mix. Hawkins is in as well. Looks like everybody quick to try and rejoin the group. We have seen a few people, I think, just be a distance a little bit. Not surprised. Look at the numbers. We're in the 4s and 5s at the moment on the front of the group, and to push back into the group. So this group of riders is going to be 12 riders at the front of the ride. Looks like Charlotte, Mavin, Morn. If this group of 3 work together, there is a possibility of catching the group in front. They've got a gap back to Sandra McKay, and it looks like Joe Munden, Harriet Robb keeping on moving. Remember, it is 1 lap to go when they hit the line this time. If you've been through that lap, you're going to be on to your last lap. Our Red Beacon, well, they're on their last lap as well. They're all going to come in basically on the same lap as they come through. Great to see here on the WOW DCG. We're in with Webster. Leading group of 12 riders go in and through. It is going to be really frantic stuff. Remember, this dip and horizon now. Who's got what power-ups? Who has got a ghost to spirit themselves off the front? Who is going to have something like an arrow to be able to make the attack? Has anybody got a feather? And do they need to engage it here? Well, there's some serious power being engaged. We're seeing those flames coming out of the socks here. So it is Jones who's put in the fiery socks, putting that extra power. Vicky Jones here at the moment from TBR 45T, the Velas Swig team. You can see how Vicky goes on. She's nicely tucked in with this leading group, and once again Kinlock goes on the front. Kinlock does not want the pace to drop here. She's winding it up. She was at 5 watts per kilo, I'm sure I just saw then coming through. So the riders in this leading group are pushing. Oh, looks like Charlotte on there. Ban the kids from ever touching the computer. She lost connection. Find a group, make it count. Make those last lap count. It's about digging in. Get as much as you can out. There's a group 12 seconds in front if you're feeling strong. Pip Morn, Mavin in front. If you're not feeling that you've got that power, well, there is going to be Sandra McKay, another of our real strong riders, and of course our Red Beacon group to ride in to that finish. They're all flying at the moment now. Are we going to see an attack out of this group? If so, where's it going to come? There are 2 key positions for me on this course to put an attack in. One is as you come into the climb and then use the climb to your advantage if you've got the power on that climb. The second is as you go over the top of the climb and around the top of the Arc de Triomphe, because that is then the final point. After that, it's a case of sitting in and timing your sprint right. Remember, it's a downhill run-in, but a slightly uphill sprint, but only in the last 100 meters. Very difficult to get right, particularly as this group will be coming in incredibly hot if they are all together. The question is, who's got the legs, who's got the pace, who's going to have that kick? Will anybody want to go early? Are we going to see the breakaway queen herself? It is the one and only Sammy Stewart, who has soloed off the front of a Tour Series. Remember, such is the class of our yellow beacon here today. Will Sammy look to try and take this out? Could anybody match her? Will she leave it to a sprint? Is she going to try and hone those sprint legs here today? Well, not long to find out. We're at 32.9k. This group back together again. And I think those numbers have just dropped off a little bit. Mavin Morn, Charlotte continuing to push on. Look at Charlotte go here. She'll just see some 3s and 4 watts per kilo coming out of people. But I think Charlotte is getting dropouts off the on the way through. Don't forget, of course, if you jump onto the Donny Chaingang Facebook page, if you've got tech questions or issues, put it on the Facebook page, put it on the group. There are some incredibly knowledgeable people on there who know exactly how to make you get the best from your kit. The odds are somebody's had a similar dropout. It's a big group, 2,500 people on there, massive resource. It's there for using. Make sure you go post on there. If you can't get an answer on there, then you can always get in touch. Obviously, we regularly have quite a lot on, particularly at the moment. So it may take a little bit of a time to get you an answer, but we do literally reach the stage of ringing people up and regularly do so to help people, whether it's with tech, pacing, coaching. Remember, of course, Emma, a qualified coach as well as a DS on the way through, but just as importantly, a long-time rider on Zwift as well. Now, we are seeing our 2 riders together here. You've got our northeast rider, Daisy Freer, just tracking Alison Kinlock. Kinlock, of course, based up in Yorkshire, going to be trying to use some of that strength she's been able to pick up. It looks like it's pulling a group clear of 6 riders. Kinlock, Freer, Pascal Stewart. It looks like it's going to be Lockwood in there as well. Little bit of a gap back behind Tracy Seeley. Seeley is going to be the last of the riders in this group, but behind Seeley, you can see a push coming now from Webster. She's seen the danger. Webster's trying to get across to join this group. Can she make contact? It's going to level out, and that group is going to pick up pace. Lisa Jane Lake digging in deep here, well over 4 watts per kilo. Looks like we're seeing the same from Vicky Jones, but you can see the gaps are starting to increase here as we go back. Find a group, work together, but remember, where you want to be is at that banner as Sammy Stewart pushes over the top. Who can go with her? Looks like Pascal and Freer are able to just about hold those wheels. It could be a group of 3. Seeley the Terminator is marching away up into this group. Now Seeley really needs to pull it out as they go through. Stewart and Pascal. Pascal's giving Stewart a turn here. Well, that is a brave move. I'll be making Sammy Stewart work all the way to that finishing line if I was in that group. We know what a phenomenal finisher she is, but Pascal has said, do you know what? I want to get in here and I want to push. So Beth Pascal at the moment leading out the group as they come around that turn. It's a group of 3, Pascal, Stewart and Freer. So Daisy, Sammy and Beth go into that sprint line. Now they're not going to contest this. Our fastest time was a 19.66, and I think with this group clear, they're still going to push through in a slightly quicker time this time. Let's see what time comes up. They hit the line going through, and 18.02. All the riders in the 18s in that leading group. We're looking to see Seeley and Co come through behind, but they're not setting. They have set. Sorry, just setting fastest times coming in through that line. Most of those riders, but you can see the gap has opened up from Kinlock, who's leading the chase down to Sammy Stewart, Beth Pascal and Daisy Freer. And Freer, has she been keeping an eye? We've got a certain Mr. Hudson who's been putting in some serious attacks. He's taking win after win. He's one of our young riders as well on the Chaingang on a Tuesday and a Thursday. And it's been a masterclass from him, but he hasn't had it all his own way. And it shows you, dependent on the course, it will depend on the terrain. It will depend on who's got what power up. We've not seen many come in from these 3. We are in with our riders now. Pascal at the moment, 181. Freer's heart rate, 190 was Sammy Stewart, 193. They're very similar. Stewart puts in another dig. Not enough to go clear, I don't think. And look at this. A little bit of a kick by Freer. Stewart is just dragging Freer to this line at the moment. And has Freer got an answer to Stewart? Stewart's put in a power up, but it's useless until somebody goes in front. Are they going to let her burn it up? Has Freya got anything in here? She's coming up. Come on, Daisy, give it a run for her money. It's going to be Sammy Stewart who's going to take it. Well, a winner of the Tour Series, a winner of the Chaingang run for the line. A fantastic ride by Daisy Freya taking second, and an awesome ride by Beth Pascal taking third place on the way through. The next riders in, it's going to be the Terminator. Seeley could just about get this. She's going to come in underneath the gadget. She just takes fourth place. It's going to be a fifth place for Kinloch. Lisa Jane Lake's going to come through for sixth position here. Lockwood is going to push on to take seventh, ahead of Vicky Jones in eighth position. Bratton is going to come through for ninth. Webster, oh, it's so tight on the line between Webster and Gilbert. I'll let you guys argue amongst yourselves for that one. Sarah on her way in here. Sarah Hawkins coming in through to the line, going to take 13th position. Another fastest lap time. The fastest lap time of the day set today by Sammy Stewart, a 9:16.2 on that final lap of the day. So Hawkins in and through, and it's going to be a mom. It's going to be our next rider in to the finish. Sammy Stewart pushed all the way there by Beth Pascal and Daisy Freya. Great to see our beacons having to work. Good ride here by Marvin coming in to the line, just clear of Pip Mom. Pip Mom trying to push to close that gap down, but Marvin, I think, has got enough of a gap on the way through. I think John Lee's legs are just falling off. Everybody just hitting the 0 watts as they go in through that line pretty much. So here we go. Marvin going to be our next rider to the finish. So Beth Pascal came through, pushed all the way to the line. Next rider in is going to be Marvin. Great ride by Marvin there. Comes through just ahead of Pip Morn. Morn chasing all the way into the line. Another great ride by Pip here today in Paris on the Champs-Élysées on the L2 sprint. Sandra McKay on a charge on the descent down here, being chased by at the moment by Laura Cheeseman. Cheeseman, I think, is 9 seconds behind. She's going to try and stay clear here of the chasing Red Beacon. So Sandra McKay on her way, you're chasing moments. Don't forget, guys, warm down, spin your legs out. That's why you're putting that run to the blue banner. Some amazing rides being done here today. The clock just ticking over that hour marker as the sun beats down in Paris. Sammy Stewart being very generous there. It's the riders who make it. It certainly is. The riders make the Chaingang. It is a massive group effort to put on the rise, and from the rise to have the character that they do. Amazing riding by everybody today. Great to see Sandra McKay again. Everybody on this same lap as our race leader as the race finish. As Sandra McKay goes through, it's only 14 seconds, but it's not even that to our chasing group. So you can see the riders are on. Say, come on, Laura, all the way to the line, kiddo. Not far to go now. So our next rider's going to come in. It's going to be, first of all, it's going to be Harriet Robb. Harriet comes through the line there. Great ride by Harriet today. She goes through to a finish. Then it's going to be our beacon, Joe Munnan, doing an amazing job. And I think just easing up a little bit to get Laura back in and through. So Laura Cheeseman, good to have Laura back in with us, a regular rider on the national scene, and a rider who we know is capable of incredibly fast times. So Laura comes through the line, and I think is going to see Joe. So Laura and Joe are going to be rolling in, I think, together towards the line. So as the riders get themselves together, heading in for our blue banner, got to say a massive thank you to all of our riders, particularly to our beacons for their hard work today. Joe escorting our riders in and making sure everybody got a ride and had the possibility of getting on that bus. Great to see you. Amazing rides done. Brilliant finish. What can we say about Sammy Stewart? We know she's a proven winner. She's proved it again. But not only that, she's an absolutely cracking ride leader and was very, very mean. One lap wonder. Almost the opposite of last night's ride. And you know what? That's what we love about the Chaingang. There's something for everybody. The rides vary every single week. Different route every single ride all the way through. of the season. We do have some of our big stables, our favourites coming in, but don't forget with lots of new routes as well, and plenty of crackers coming up. Don't forget next week, as our riders make their way around, we are not going to have a broadcast on the Tuesday, the Wednesday, or the Thursday, so not on the DCG or the WOW DCGs, quite simply because we're just starting off a new project for full speed events, just expanding just a little bit, just a teeny weeny bit, and just starting into something different. Hopefully bring you projects. Don't want to say anything because I don't want to curse them. I'm touching very, very quickly here at the moment. But hopefully that will all come to pass. And we'll be back the week after with the DCG, the WOW DCG, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. Don't forget, of course, you can catch up with Emma at Biking Emma. Make sure you message her on social media. Put her in the tags on your social media, please. Put in at Full Speed Events. We want to see what you get up to. It's that straightforward. It makes my life as a commentator, Emma's life as a commentator easier. And more importantly, we get to appreciate what amazing athletes we get coming on the Chaingang and just how amazing all our riders are. Please remember to jump on to the race, registered nice and early. You can catch up with Emma on the Sunday Race Club. That's coming out on Sunday. You can also, of course, catch up with the following Sunday. We're going to be broadcasting the Abu Dhabi World Trials and BMX Championships, the Urban Championships for the UCI. So I'm heading out there. I'm literally hot-footing it pretty much out of the studio tonight. Jumping on a plane and heading out there. That is going to be coming out to you. Watch out for that coming out in your streams, on your YouTube channel, on your terrestrial TV. Jump onto the uci.org.ch website for coverage of where that's coming out and where it's being broadcast. It's on the YouTube channel for the UCI if you're not geo-blocked. And don't forget, your VPN just needs to be somewhere where she's not blocked to be able to watch it on their YouTube channel. I'm going to be bringing you all of that action, every single dab, every whip, every flare, every single time machine that comes out. So I've been doing my homework. Going to be bringing you all of that. I've got two great hosts with me. But from me here on the Donny Chaingang, enjoy your week off without me in your ears next week. I hope all the rides go really, really well. We will be watching the rides. We won't be broadcasting them. But please, guys, stay safe. Enjoy yourselves. From me, Matt Payne, stay safe. We'll see you again soon.